I've got some new kits.
With sloths, you said.
What?
Sloths.
Sloths are these cute little animals that will move really slow.
I don't know. You said something about a sloth.
I said slats.
Slats.
Slat,
Sorry.
sloth, the same thing.
Yeah, right.
It's just an accent.
What's a slat?
Slat is that fence-looking thing on the outside of the vehicle.
So it's not an aerodynamic aid?
No, it probably hinders that. You know why they have that on there?
It's easy to climb up.
No. Actually protects the actual vehicle from particular explosives.
Oh, really?
And it's not a new thing. They actually started using these in World War II.
Really?
Yeah. But
So
for some reason...
How old is this model?
This is actually modern.
What do you mean?
Like 2008, this one is when they...
What?
Yeah. This is a modern truck. Okay. Or what Jack called an MRAP. I don't know, that's like a multi-purpose thing. So it's a troop carrier.
Doesn't look very Australian.
No, it's British.
Oh, it's British.
Yes.
Oh.
So the idea with the slats
yes.
is you might notice that it's become quite, well, I guess the media shows a lot in the Ukrainian war.
Mm.
The tanks are starting to put the mesh on the top of the turret.
The mesh?
Yeah. So the idea is that's to stop the javelins, because the javelins...
What's a javelin?
It's an anti-tank missile. Whereas previous anti-tank missiles usually go straight into the tank at a particular point. These actually fly and come down through the roof of the turret, which is the thinnest part of the armor.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
How come?
Well, because the designers figure that when a tank fights another tank, nothing's going to come from the top, except for maybe aircraft.
Oh.
And to reduce weight, and so they put extra armor on the fronts and the sides, but less on the top, keep weight down.
I'm not sure if I was watching a video game or the news. Did they drop stuff from a drone like in the top of the sunroof of the tank? Do tanks have sunroofs?
You call it a sunroof, it's a hatch.
A hatch. Yeah. And they leave that open. They leave that open for air conditioning.
I can't believe how accurate these drone flyers are these days. I'll drop a grenade, like a handheld grenade. It'll automatically pull a pin and drop it, and they get it through the holes. Like if someone left the hatch open, it'll go straight through the hatch.
Through the
into the inside,
through the cat door,
and go pop.
And so that's real life.
Real life.
So they put the slats.
So the slats
on top.
So that's for the javelin. That's not for the drones. Drones dropping grenades. Well, the grenade will hit the slat and just fall off it. It'll slide off. That's why the angle like a 10.
Oh.
But for these, they don't have that. Okay. So this is designed for the, what do they call them?
Not sure.
The RPGs, which is a
RPG.
rocket-propelled missile, and they're designed to actually explode before it hits the armor, and it pushes plasma through the armor. So it's actually a really tiny hole that's melted through the armor.
Plasma.
Yep. And once it gets inside, it just wreaks havoc, like burns everything.
Like laser beams.
That's it.
Really?
So the idea here is that
sounds quite violent.
It sets it off early before the plasma actually. So the plasma releases some of this energy before it actually hits the armor. So it doesn't actually penetrate. So that's the idea of having.
So the plasma doesn't work anymore.
That's right.
We'll have to go back to sharks with laser beams.
That's the idea of this, and that's why they look a bit ugly, but that protects everyone.
No, beauty's in the eye of the beholder, mate.
So a big fence all the way around it.
It's nice. It'd be good for the ruse.
So 35 scale kit, really thick box. Look at that.
Big box.
Big box.
What's the slats? Do you have to build the slats one by one?
Ah.
Or is it just panels? Oh, it's panels. Lucky.
Makes it easier.
Lucky.
If you want to be an absolute masochist, you could probably go out and buy yourself some photo etch slats where you have to interlink every single one of them.
Really? Is that something that you do?
Not what I would do, but some people would.
You relace wheels because they're not right?
Yeah, but it's different to doing these. Imagine doing all that. Okay, so luckily all the slats are actually molded in these panels. Probably not as fine as it would be.
Is Jack buying one?
Jack's thinking about it.
I think Jack should buy one.
He asked about it.
Did he?
Yeah. This gives you a better idea of the size.
Well, if he was buying one, I'd like to get right in there and finger this box. You know what I mean?
Rubbery tires. Oh, he hasn't committed yet. Got room for a turret there. It's got the 50 cal on the top. A couple of little hatches. That's where the drones would drop like little grenades and stuff.
Well, you keep it closed, mate. Don't leave the cat door open.
No, I mean, if it's hot, you need a bit of air, right?
Put a bit of air conditioner to it. It's 2008 model. Bloody hell. Nan's 1983 Chimera has air conditioning.
Are you sure? What about power steering?
No. We got muscles, man.
We got all the harnesses here. These are for all the the crew and also for the passengers.
What do you mean, passengers?
Because they're so big, they're designed as troop carriers as well. Particularly troop carriers. There's the bottom of the
Looks like a
chassis.
hull. Looks like
it does.
a boat
It's
hull.
curved, so it's a bit like a Bushmaster, right? So if it hits a mine, it will deflect the blast across the sides rather than go through the center.
Won't even spill their coffee.
Won't spill their coffee. You sure about that? You got all the axles, lots of bits. Do I need to go through everything? There's just so many bits.
You tell me.
There's the interior there.
Lots of painting.
Lots of bits. Look at all that.
Why
What's
are
the
there
soft bit?
so many bits?
I don't know, there's just lots of bits.
How many screws is there?
A lot. Big truck, isn't it? There you go.
Does it have photo etch?
I would imagine it's got some, but it doesn't look like it.
Is that questions that I should be asking?
No, no photo etch.
Where's
It has
Meng?
some
Where's
decals.
Meng from?
Meng is Chinese.
Is it?
Yes. And Meng would be considered one of the better brands now.
How
Very
long
good
have
quality.
Meng been making kits for?
Meng, a number of years now. It's going to be at least 10 years.
Oh, really? So they're fairly young. So it's
Oh,
not like
fairly
they've been
young, yes.
around for 50 years, or 60
No,
years, or 70
They don't
years.
have that sort of history.
10 years.
So they started off with
And
military
this is
stuff,
a-
but they've branched out into all sorts of things.
And this is a brand new kit.
Brand new kit.
So they've never done this before.
No.
Has anybody else done the Mastiff
I
too?
don't think so. I don't recall. I don't think so. There've been other trucks around.
Yep.
That's pretty impressive. 6x6 wheeled protected patrol vehicle.
Is the other one here that Jack just did?
I thought you left it in the cabinet. That's quite interesting, isn't it? That's also made by Meng.
Is it? Is
Yeah,
that a
the
Meng
truck,
model?
The truck itself isn't anything.
Well, while you grab the next one, I'm going to
Yeah.
go get another one of his models to break.
All right, why not?
Yeah?
Yep.
What do you reckon?
Yep.
All right.
I'll help you break it.
You get stuck in.
All right. Well, there's your Mastiff. Just stick it over there. What else we got? We have a new Panther. So Meng have made Panthers before, so this is just another version. And it's quite an interesting version. I quite like the Panther. Panther would be my favorite tank from World War II. And there have been quite a few modifications that they did do to the tank. And this, I guess, would be one of the later iterations. So it's got the, where am I going? Right here. It's got the sights. So there's the infrared sight, so they could actually do night fighting. And over here, there's the infrared searchlight. It's mounted on the side of the mantlet. And this is a late version Panther, so this is a Panther G. Let's have it from the top. All right, so over here you see all the new sort of bits. Now, Panther G was quite late in that had a lot of the improvements. So the Gs had the last improvements ever fitted onto the Panther. Improvements of the mantlet, so it was actually a flat section here. Original Panthers had actually fully curved all the way around. They found that when shells hit across the top, quite often they'll deflect and actually...
I'm back.
That's
So-
fast.
I was having...
They'll deflect and go into the hull. So being flat, it'll actually just bounce off or deflect straight off.
Who's deflecting?
Just talking about improvements on the Panther. Here we got the
Is
the
it a Black
infrared
Panther?
Black Panther.
How come it's not called a Panzer?
It is a Panther. Doesn't say Panther on it though. But it is a Panzer. Panzer just means tank, right?
Oh, I thought Panzer meant Panther.
No. No, Panther means Panther. Learn something new every day, hey?
That's all right.
There you go. And then here's the mounted infrared spotlight on the side. So you've probably seen on other models of Panther Gs, they would have this. This was a late modification to take this light, but very rarely have any models included this light. So it's interesting that this version by Meng has actually included this one.
How come?
Well, I
It looks
guess,
like it would break off easy.
well, probably. I mean, you just screwed it on and used it at night time. So this is to help illuminate stuff. And then this massive sight here helped the commander see in the dark.
Is that because they were driving under UV?
Well, it's infrared, so it's like,
Infrared.
so similar to UV, but different wavelength. And then there's the unit. So these were fitted on some prototype vehicles, which apparently did see some action
Hot
towards the end of the war.
rolling, cast, welding, and cutting textures.
So that'll be all these. So along the edges,
Yep.
just to make it look more realistic.
Okay.
I'll see if we can see that. So that wouldn't be new.
It's not new?
Let's see what's actually. Oh, look at
Oh, that
that.
looks,
This is for the massacre sinners.
that's gonna make a mess. Of
What
your-
is this?
That's your your tracks, isn't it?
That's right. And the tracks, each one of those tracks has 2 of these guys on it.
And does it have to be glued?
Yes.
Why couldn't they mold that on there? Because it wouldn't look realistic.
Yeah, because it's got a hole in it.
But when I paint that, it's going to be covered anyway.
Well, if you paint it, maybe. All right, so there's your tracks. This is part of the Mastiff kits, right?
Do they give you spares?
They do give you spares because the tanks actually had spares that hung off the side of the tank.
Good.
Yeah.
Because if you lost one, you'd be really upset.
You would. In general, there's 80 links per side, so you would have to do at least 160 links, I'd say. I got it here. We've got the road wheels
Why are they road wheels?
because they've got rubber on them. I don't know. They just call them road wheels.
Okay. Is it
And it's
air cooled?
interesting. Hey,
Is it air cooled?
it's no. I'm sure it's got liquid in it.
Okay.
Yeah. It's interesting that they included these because these are the earlier type wheels. The later, like the Gs, I would have imagined would have had the steel wheels because towards the end of the war they ran out of
No
rubber.
rubber. No rubber.
And that's why they actually made synthetic rubber, which most tires are now. So that's where the technology came about. Before then, all tires were made of natural rubber. I think they ran out of rubber, so they made them steel instead. So they had a steel ring around them.
We should all be driving on steel wheels.
Should we? What are these tiny things? They look painful, don't they?
Spark plugs.
I got no idea.
I have no idea. They look more chain link running gear or something.
Well, I think that's part of the suspension.
Or the rollers or...
Yeah, so you got all the suspension. What do you call those? Can't remember. What's the wheels? Oh, there you go. There's the steel wheels. You see the difference?
What, so they have 2 sets of wheels?
Yeah, so they're giving you the early ones and the late ones. Because at some stages they did mix them up a bit when they ran out of stuff.
Did they?
Yeah, if they got like a wheel bent or blown off, they just find one from wherever they could.
Blown off? Why would it get blown off?
Because I'll hit a mine. Don't go kaboom. So they had to fix these things, right?
Sounds
So there you go. That's interesting.
Sounds a bit violent.
All right, so this is all the new bits. Okay, seeing this is a late model because there's the late model mantlet
Ooh,
with flat end. And all this, so late model toolbox. You've got all the infrared bits here. All the late steel wheels. Okay, interesting. Okay, so these parts would be from the regular Panther.
So it's not their first Panther.
No, we've had Panthers out for quite a while.
Panthers in the
And
jungle.
it's quite a complicated kit.
Is it?
Lots of bits.
Have you built one of these?
I haven't got one of these. No. I mean, you see the hull, it's in multiple parts already.
Would you like to?
I don't know. I like Panthers, but I don't know. Lots of clear bits. So you got all the periscopes.
Why would they have clear bit? They wouldn't have much glass on a tank, would they?
Well, they actually bulletproof glass, and that's how they looked out. They used periscopes,
Oh, really?
and they were spring loaded, so that if they got damaged, they could just pull it out and stick another one in there.
You know a lot about tanks.
That's interesting. So they've got these are the sidewalls for the Jäg Panther.
The what?
Jäg Panther.
Yag.
Yeah. So that's a late version, and they're giving you this because that's the late version engine deck with the interior heater and stuff. So you won't be using these bits there.
Interior heater.
Yeah, because during winter the tank got pretty cold.
Did it?
Yeah, so you decided to
How long would you
redirect.
spend in a tank?
As long as you didn't get hit. I don't know, at least 5 minutes. And then you got the turret there, and that's multiple pieces too. And then you've got quite a bit of photo etch. So I've got the silver photo etch, which is the armor plates for the sides. That's like the spaced armor, a bit like the slat armor.
I reckon tanks would be really uncomfortable.
Probably would be. And then we've got the brass bits, and you've got the covers for the air intakes, and then there's these little pie-shaped things, which the crew use for covering up the mesh. The more you cover the mesh, the more hot air went into the cabin. So that was part of the heater. So they directed the air into the cabin to heat it up. So there you go. There's a lot there, isn't there?
Sounds like they were just worried about being warm. What about the noise? Imagine the noise and the harshness, and you'd have us all back.
Oh, for sure.
You'd probably be deaf.
A little suspension. But imagine running on steel wheels. Got a little bit of give, and then you got no give, and bounce around everywhere.
Be a bit bouncy.
Yeah.
We'll
And
stick
you
that
got
one
shells
away.
going everywhere.
And that is Meng.
That's Meng. Meng Panther. Late with infrared.
Infrared Panther.
Infrared bits.
That's like a a shark with laser beams, an infrared panther.
Is it?
I'm calling it.
Is that like Jaws with cybernetic bits?
Yep.